Cotterill. Thanks for joining me. Over the course of my executive career, I've had a variety of wonderful experiences. Most of the time I've been in really challenging, change-oriented roles. More than once, our measure of success has been as basic as staying in business or recovering value for our shareholders, or most importantly, keeping our people in their jobs. As a result of those experiences, I've been able to work out what drives successful outcomes in business and what doesn't. And here's the good news. The stuff that works best is the simple stuff. Simple stuff is easy to communicate, straightforward for people at all levels to understand, and uncomplicated to monitor and measure. I've seen numerous examples of management teams locked in their meeting rooms with whiteboards and post-it notes discussing the same old problems month after month, complicating everything. And yet outside the meeting room, the products aren't priced right, or the phones aren't being answered properly, or an underperforming sales team is failing to cover the customer base effectively. In other words, most businesses fail at the simple stuff. And the simple stuff is what I speak about. As you can see by the comments around this website, we always get great feedback about my speaking presentations. So let's go to a live audience now and you can see for yourself. And the cool stuff is in this country, many of you will have the boat, the batch and the BMW and your business will be okay. But the opportunity is to double it or triple it. How do we make that business that we've currently got better than it's ever been before? And the answer to that question is to keep innovating, to keep changing, to keep improving, to be 20% better every year, just to stay the same. Make sense? Now I'm going to talk about leadership. I've had my hobby horse on change, and I want to talk about leadership. How many of you are in leadership roles? How many of you find it lonely? How many find you frustrating? How many of you love it? How many of you learn every day? How many of you hate it and learn every day? When I talk to leaders, I try to talk to leaders 3 to 4 days of the week about their businesses. And you know what? Those are all the things they describe. In fact, I've got some of them. Lonely, relentless, difficult, unpopular, pressure from above, but also growing, learning, developing, hands-on. Who really hates it, really likes it, but wouldn't be without it? There you go. But we turned Charlie into a hero because he asked a question. Can you tell me what we do? It should haunt every manager. And the key to that is communication. The key thing you've got to do, I talk about all the time, clarity, communication, consistency. Be clear about what you're trying to do, communicate to your people, and act in a manner that's consistent with that. You see, we can do McKinsey's 7 S's or Porter's 5 Forces. We can get really, really complicated in business. But you know what works? Do you want to know what really works? It's the simple stuff. Answering your phones really works. You don't need a management meeting working out what's going wrong if you're not answering your phones. Or if the people answering the phones can't help the customers that are calling in. Simple stuff is what works. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Remember, a lot of the people in this room are sort of not my age possibly, but my era. Right? I might be a bit older than most of you. But when we went away on holiday, remember going away on holiday and taking photos? Yeah. And then we'd come back and get them developed. That took 3 weeks. And then we'd, if you're lucky, we might show a couple of people. And then we stuck them in a book that Nana put on the mantelpiece and you never saw them again. Right? Remember that? Well, the Facebook generation don't do that, do they? They go out to dinner. My daughter was at dinner, my 20-year-old daughter was at dinner in London last night. And I've already seen the photos. In fact, I saw the photos while she was having dinner. So that's... What are you guys on? Eh? You've really got this group together. Eh? They even asked the same question at the same time. She had pasta. But think about that, and then think about putting those people into a work environment. They are permanently engaged. Everything, I talk to people who are aged 20 to 30 all the time. Everything in their lives, they are permanently engaged in all the time. If they're cyclists or athletes, they actually know who's out training at the moment. They know which of their competitors, because they've got them all on, find friends and all of that, and they can see they're up in the hills, and they go, gosh, I better get up in the hills, or I better get to the pool. Or they can see where their mates are. Every aspect of their life, permanently engaged, except for where? At work. Work that out. Huh? So what do you think they're thinking? Gee, this sucks. That's what they're thinking. Because once a month, the boss talks to me. The rest of my life, people are talking to me every minute of every day, all the time, over and over and over, and then I go to work and nothing. Notice that? So how do we keep our people engaged? And I'm not saying you've got to communicate with them every minute of the day. What I am saying is when you communicate with them, you've got to give them permission and you've got to give them information and you've got to give them support so as they can keep themselves permanently engaged. Now, the only man not laughing is the Irishman, because it makes perfect sense to him. But you guys, the cogs don't quite go around the same, do they? Irish Australia. But you know, there's an example of a really grumpy customer walking in the door and a people making me feel better. And I went and had a cup of coffee and a bit of breakfast and went on about my day, and everything settled down because of a people. You know, and I used to do a bit of work with Qantas, and you know, when we're in the magazine business, they used to have that big ad in magazines. They still have it every now and then with all the tails of all the planes lined up. You know that ad? And they take all the planes out of service for half a day to line them up to take the photo. I said, it's not about, travel is not about the tail of the plane. As long as it doesn't fall off. Right? It's about the people you interact with on the way through the process, from check-in to baggage claim. It's about people. And your business is no different. And your people can actually change the way we think about our business. All right? Get the message through to those people. Here's your next key phrase. Average organisations will always lose above average people. Average organisations will always lose above average people. Welcome back. As you can see, no jargon, no buzzwords, no management mumbo-jumbo, and no rehash of other speakers' material. Just logical stuff from my own experience that makes sense and works. Someone once said to me that a speaker has 3 obligations to an audience. Number 1, to entertain. Number 2, to share useful information. And number 3, to leave the audience with something that they can take back to their office or work environment and use to make a difference in their organisation. I take those 3 goals very seriously. And as you can see, we usually have a lot of fun along the way. Hey, thanks again for joining me. I look forward to seeing you in the audience or online at brucecotterill.com. And in the meantime, I wish you every success. Thanks for watching and have a great week.